All right, thanks, Tony. Now to Michael Jackson's comeback, because he helped launch, really, the MTV generation. His breakout record, Thriller, gave him the nickname the King of Pop. But now, after years out of the spotlight, Michael Jackson is trying to make a comeback. And the question is, can he do it? This weekend, he performed in New York City. Next month, he'll release a new album, defiantly entitled Invincible. ABC's Allison Stewart was at his comeback concert.
Michael on the end, Michael right here, right here.
An eclectic array of stars came to salute Michael Jackson at Friday's opening night. From NSYNC to Destiny's Child to Liza Minnelli to Whitney Houston.
To hand it over, to love to get under.
Even Marlon Brando.
He is just one of the best artists out there.
Michael Jackson is the complete master of all domains of music. I mean, all entertainment overall.
But the reviews were mixed at best.
Seeing this concert felt like you got classic Michael Jackson with 2 or 3 extra hours you really didn't care for.
The songs have become modern-era classics. Baby boomers remember Michael Jackson this way. But some young pop music consumers think of him as, well, old news.
He's Janet Jackson's brother. He hasn't been around for a long time, so he's basically lost his touch.
And that's bad news, considering Jackson is trying to pry his way back into the pop music scene through a media blitz. New single, new album, an appearance at the MTV Video Music Awards. He even showed up to open the NASDAQ. Well, after years of scandal and some pretty odd behavior, not to mention disappearing from the U.S. touring scene for over 11 years, the King of Pop may have to fight to retain his title.
It's not that people have no memory or perception of Michael Jackson. They have a very clear one, and that perception is the guy's turned into a freak.
It's been 19 years since the release of his blockbuster album Thriller, and the years that followed took bizarre twists and turns. In 1993, Jackson was charged with sexually molesting a 13-year-old boy.
I am totally innocent of any wrongdoing, and I know these terrible allegations will all be proven false.
He maintains his innocence and settled that lawsuit, but it cost him reportedly between $10 and $20 million. Then in 1994 came his surprise wedding to the daughter of the king, Lisa Marie Presley. The marriage lasted 2 years. In 1996, Jackson wed a nurse, Debbie Rowe. She gave birth to Jackson's 2 children, but the couple divorced in October 1999. All the while, Jackson continued to physically transform himself. Michael Jackson has a lot at stake as he prepares to launch a new release this October called Invincible. And to turn up the heat on the new release, tribute shows have been scheduled to celebrate Jackson's 30 years as a solo performer.
One thing about Michael Jackson's Madison Square Garden show is it was a circus. And I don't really think Michael Jackson needs a circus.
While you can't underestimate the power of the legend, the music, and the talent of Michael Jackson, will it all be enough?
Get out there and remind people why they loved you in the first place. Sing and dance and do the stuff that you do as well as or better than anybody else on the planet.
Yeah, get out and do what you do, and that's what he did.
Everybody was there says that he was fantastic at the end of the concert, but there was all this other stuff going on as well.
Like what?
Like Whitney Houston, for one thing.
Yeah, Whitney Houston performed at this concert, and her appearance, I think, concerned a lot of people. She performed Want to Be Starting Something, and she looked thin.
You know, people felt it was really worrying. And as we know, we haven't heard from her in a long time, but...
Too thin.
Everybody worried.
Too thin. And Marlon Brando?
Marlon Brando appeared and apparently talked about genocide at some length.
That's appropriate.
Well, rather startling to the crowd, and as it was related to me anyway, people initially started sort of booing. He thought perhaps it was applause, then he shifted, then he engaged in a sort of argument with the audience. The whole thing had to be an event to remember at the very least, but it was quite a night of eccentric behavior.
But Michael Jackson is back, and it's great music, and it's good to see him performing again. It's 38 minutes after the hour. We'll be back. Stay with us.